Good morning. This is the weekly VOLTHA TST meeting. Let's see. And if anybody has any items they want to go over on the, feel free to add them on the agenda. Let me see. This week I've been trying to keep an eye on the Garrett dashboard and go through code reviews as they come in. So hopefully nothing's been getting backlogged. Let me see. So we had an item from last week. Somebody added an item to review the bug list and potential roadmap items. We needed some more context on this. Did whomever add the item, if you want to bring it up during the agenda and just what items you'd like to talk about. If you just want to highlight those or go ahead and grab the item if you're on the call. And if not, if anybody has any agenda items, the floor is open if you'd like to go over anything.
Joy, for this item, actually, yes, we're better to go through this task list and bug list in the Jira. And I tried to go through it last week. There are a lot of open items, and some of them are very old and they're no more, related. And I closed some of them. And there are some open tasks that already resolved, but the tasks are open only. So maintenance is needed, I guess. So I'll continue to go through these tasks offline, after the meeting again this week, and try to clean up as much as possible. But let's make an announcement to people to check their, at least the tasks they have on themselves. So they can check the tasks if they solved it, resolved it. So they close the tasks. And if the tasks are too old and not related anymore, again, to close them. And do not forget to set their fixed versions correctly, which is now is 2.12. Then we can also, check the tasks if the unassigned ones exactly, and close the unrelated one, and prioritize the remaining. So kind of maintenance is needed on art, I guess. So as I said, I'll try to go through them and may request some help from you guys during this. Okay. And Joy, you have a lot of tasks on yourself?
Yes.
Of tasks, so if you can check them, it will be great.
Okay.
And for the roadmap items, we can review the roadmap items, actually the current backlog we have. Yeah, this one. And to, remind people what we have in our backlog as prioritized items. Yeah. This is the list we have done with operators during 2.12. After 2.11 actually, for 2.12. This list is still valid. Anyone in the community, if they want to contribute to any of these items, that's very appreciated, really. So please feel free to take any of the item in this list, and they are prioritized, as I said, from the top to bottom, and they're prioritized by operators supporting the project. So the first priorities are, the first item is, as you can see, maintaining backwards compatibility for VOLTA components. So I think we're done with this. There's not much to do about this. The next items are LACP and LAG support. I think guys in NETC are working on that. There's new microcontroller Go is another prioritized item. This is in the context of Radisys, I guess. They are preparing. I mean, as far as I know, they opened the code and prepared some tests, and they're running these tests, etc., and arranging pipelines accordingly to change the ONOS to this new microcontroller. Avilash, if you want to chime in and give a status, welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, sure. On that, Joey, one of my teammates, will approach you for help. He might have already approached you.
Okay.
So if you can help him with the pipelines and the Volta system tests to have the VGC running on nightly basis and also include it in the pipelines, then it would be great.
Okay.
Yeah. So here the DT workflow is well and working and tested. So the TT workflow is still not yet complete. So the question here is, do we go ahead with the release with the microcontroller saying like it works for DT release? I mean, DT workflow.
Could you come again, Abhilash? What's the question?
Like the 3.0 release would have VGC replacing ONOS or VGC along with ONOS. Means either of them. The user can choose either of them. It'll be like that, or it'll be replacing, because as of now, the VGC supports only DT workflow. It doesn't support the TT workflow. So replacing it may not be done as of now, because TT workflow should also be supported if we have to replace.
Okay. The final target is to replace it, of course, but we can leave them live together there for a while, at least 1-2 releases. Then we can replace ONOS totally with this new controller. That's my opinion. I mean, if anyone has yeah.
I am leaning towards getting rid of ONOS actually, if it is possible. What are the missing things for the Turk Telecom workflow, Abhilash? What needs to be done?
Actually, the VGC already supports multicast, but it's a bit in a different way how Radisys uses it in their controller, as part of their controller. So this has to be changed a bit, and it has to behave how ONOS would behave, so that there will be no differences between how the flows are pushed, how the controller reacts on the IGMPs and all. So there is a bit of code churn we'll have to do. We don't have to rewrite everything, but yeah, a lot of movement here and there changes to support the TT workflow. It also supports multiple services as well, but multicast is something we'll have to look at. Right. So that's one pending.
Yeah, to be honest, previously when we talked on that item in TST and also in board, as far as I remember, we decided to put this new controller in charge when it's totally ready with the all functionalities ONOS providing currently, and if possible, as Serkan said, totally remove the onus, because I remember that we talked, it will be very hard to, manage both onus and another controller for the new, incoming features, bug resolutions, etc. So if possible, if we can do it, let's try to change it. But if it is, too hard to do it and needs a lot of effort to be spreaded over the releases, then, as I said, we can think to maintain them both together for a release. But me either, like Serkan, I don't, prefer to go with both of them,
Having all the TT workflow supported at one shot probably would be a bit difficult. So I would lean towards, of course, not having two controllers, eventually moving to VGC, but at least one or two releases, we have to have both, because there could be issues in VGC which we can resolve and get it back to shape how Uno says with respect to the TT workflow. So then probably we can get rid of OMOS. But yeah, the thing is there will be a bit of effort to put in for the TT workflow to get it working.
What about AT&T workflow, Abhilash? I think, of course, AT&T is not in the community anymore, but they have a unique service workflow that other operators may be interested. Correct me if I'm wrong. The AT&T workflow depends on one ticket, one gem, but multiple services, right? Depending on the PV.
Okay, yeah, that should all be possible with the current VGC, whatever we have. I can check the workflow. I probably don't remember on top of my head the AT&T workflow as of now. I can check and we can reevaluate how much work needs to be done.
Okay.
It's all about moving code a bit here and there, small fixes to be done. Nothing much major changes would be needed.
Okay. And you said for the Turk Telecom flow, IPTV service is a problem, but you also said something about multiple services. What do you mean by multiple services?
I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong for this one. So there are multiple services for TT workflow, right? Like HSI is a separate service, and so is VoIP, and so is IPTV. So you'll have separate TCons for each of them. So that means it eventually boils down to a different service.
Yeah.
So yeah, I meant that service is also supported in VGC, like having multiple services.
I see.
Okay, then if we're done about this, the next, let's go through the list, at least a few more items. So we have voiceovers, IP support on POTS ports. This in progress in Netsia. I guess they also provided some patches for this, but not totally, not all the patches committed, and it's not fully implemented in community version, I guess. The next one is the multi-ISP support for IPTV. That's also in progress by Netsia. That means, supporting multiple tags for multiple ISPs for IPTV service, basically. The other item is VOLTHA software upgrade for Bell and agent side. And then the combo PON technology. Then this goes on, but this items are the most prioritized items, I guess. So if anybody wants to contribute anything, they can pick up from this list and contribute it to the community. This is current our list, our backlog list. As I said, anyone has, also any requirements, they can provide their requirements to here also. We can put the link of the list to the meeting minutes, Joy, so people can.
It's at the top, but I'll add it in. I'll add it down here.
Okay. Another announcement item maybe about the patches, guys. We had pretty good amount of patches last week. Verified and merged to the system. And we still have some patches waiting there. Please, everybody, check their patches and try to get reviews on them and merge them. And guys here, if you can try to, review the patches. Some patches need reviewers, please spare some time and review the patches waiting, because we're close to release time. It's December, so we need to get as much as ready patches in before the code freeze.
Is it, sorry, I'm starting late, but is there a target date for a code freeze?
Not yet. We have to set one, but I would like to get some comments on the, on the tests from Yan this meeting, but he's not here, so I have to get some updates on test status before going for the release, going toward for the code freeze. But we generally, leave 2 or 3 weeks for the release itself. This means, the targeted date should be the end of December or the beginning of Jan for the release. So we need to go for freeze at the, in mid-December, I guess. This means we need to go freeze next week or the other.
Well, it also seems, I know it's the end of the calendar year, but that right is into the holidays,
Yes, it's holiday session. You're right. We can, I don't know, we can target it before the holiday or the week after the holiday, perhaps.
Yeah, I think you should definitely account for the holiday. I don't think there's an external source of pressure or urgency that means this should be scheduled right in the middle of the holiday, right?
Yeah, you're right. Then let's do the freeze at the end of the, December, and target the actual release for the mid-January. Does that work?
Yeah, it's not for me to answer. For you guys to decide, yeah.
Yeah. Joy, you're right, you're actively working on that release thing, so What's your comment on it?
Well, mid-January is it's fine.
Okay. Then let's decide on the freeze time then.
So I heard a question earlier too. So like right now, my understanding is the Turk Telecom workflow is still not running in system test.
Yes, correct.
So would you do this release if that workflow is still not working by then?
Actually, up to now, we run all of the tests for both, at least both, DT and TT before the releases. So this is this should be done. Without this, I don't know. We have to discuss here together if we cannot get these tests running.
Mhm.
Then we have to discuss again if we can go for release or not. There's not a ready answer for that for me. So I'm checking the calendar, and seems that to me 22nd of December can be the time for code freeze, because then it is the holiday time next week, I guess, and then after that we have 2 weeks, and the release would be in 12th of the Jan. If no objections, we can set the freeze date as 22nd of December.
Yeah, there's Amit. I don't have any objections, but we need a confirmation from Joey if that gives him sufficient time.
Well, it's going to be in the middle of vacation, but I can see what I can do with it.
No, I tried to do, arrange it according to the vacation, after the vacation. If it's in the mid-vacation, then let's make another time. Freezing means, during this freeze from 22nd to the end of the December, we don't need to do anything. You can start working in January. Because nobody will be here, I don't think that in the last week of the December, if somebody, do some contributions and we can test them or check them. So that's why I thought it can be 22nd. Otherwise, we can set it at, 1st of Jan.
Let's see. ONF is normally closed into the first week of January because they do the shutdown. Let's see when that stops.
Well, ONF is back on January 2nd,
Oh,
I think.
okay.
So I think from an ONF perspective, if the community is doing contributions up through the end of December, that should be fine. And you should be back in a position to be able to.
Yeah. If 12th of the January is early for release, and you said that it's not enough these 2 weeks, then we can change the release date to 19th.
So what's Joey, is there hesitation? Is there a concern? Do we, so basically we're allotting 2 weeks effectively, right? Well, 3 weeks, 1, 2, 3 to do the release. What's getting done during that period of time?
What, to push the release out the door?
Yeah,
Making sure all the patches are in, releasing all of the libraries and everything. If there's any jobs or test failures, you have to resolve those to get all the pieces out. The 12th's fine. We can shoot for that.
Okay then, Joy. Let's set the freeze time to 2nd of the January and the release time now to 12th of the January. Okay, if you say so. Jen,
Oh, whoops. Yeah. Okay, are there any other items you want to review off the roadmap or off of the
What? Don't drag your foot, drag me.
does any
Exam.
Mhm.
Paper.
Okay.
And I've also lost any comment.
I'm sorry I said so.
It doesn't matter. I'll just stop.
Oh, I guess the floor is still open if anybody has any other topics you'd like to cover. Are there any other roadmap items or JIRA tickets or any of that? I'll try and start going through the JIRA tickets and make up another wiki page now that the wikis are restored with all the to be able to track stuff. Okay. Last call. Is there any other items anybody would like to cover? No, if not, I guess we can give you back a half an hour out of your day then. Okay, thanks.
thank you, bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.